Welcome to another episode of the Starter Girls Podcast with your host, Jennifer Loading.
And Brianna Drelas. And we are the Starter Girls.
I love it.
That's who we are.
That's right. We're extraordinary decisions produce extraordinary results. These are our friends, these are your friends, and they are living the extraordinary. This episode is brought to you by Walt Mills, photographer of Glad Models Agency. If you are here in the Dallas or surrounding area and looking for some photography work, check out Walt Mills. You can learn more about him and his work at photosbywalt.com.
And make sure you head over to startergirls.com, startergirls with a Z, where you have an opportunity to get an amazing gift from us. So we want to get to know you better, and we hope that you'll head over to startergirls.com so that we can learn more about you and also find out how we can serve you.
Absolutely. I always like to say on that Starter Girls, because people ask me how to spell it, and I always say with the Z, because we like to be a little different.
That's right. Yeah.
Makes it fun. All right, we're going to get this thing started. Today is a great day to be brave. You might as well start now. You have the power to change your circumstances any day you decide. Let today be that day. Rise up, be amazing, be you, do you. All right, my friends, I am super excited to welcome our guest to the show today. We have Suzanne Castle, and she is, you got to hear this bio, I love it. As a deeply creative spirit with sparkle in her soul, Suzanne Castle recognized early on the importance of art to capture our attention. The joy-filled ability to recreate the world and allow it to glimmer anew, the sparkle factor, is a necessary and too often neglected piece of our humanity and thriving. Suzanne's desire to call to life the creative spirit in herself and others to invigorate and honor entrepreneurs, artists, and creatives as they lend their essential vision to the way we see the world. She does one-on-one coaching, group retreats, and events, as well as speaking engagements. She says she connects the constellation of her own winding story to draw us closer to the creative spirit shining within us all.
Ooh.
Is that not like the
lead me to your motherland or whatever? I don't know. Whatever it is, I want to be there.
Is that not the most beautiful bio ever? Like, I love it.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
I love this. It's so like creative. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I'm looking at this bio. I'm like, goodness, I'm like picturing all this. So we're like, what kind of title do we give her? We give her the sparkle factor.
Love it.
I love it.
So welcome to the show, Suzanne. We're super excited to have you here.
Holy moly, I am so glad to spend some time. I love how you empower people, how you get us to think differently, just to jump in and be brave. It's such an important part of how we show up in the world. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yay. And thank you for your awesome energy. And we're so thrilled to talk to you.
I know, I've already got chills. We haven't even started.
Let's go.
You know, it's a good sign, Suzanne. I always say this when you're talking to like-minded individuals, because I love ideas and I love energy. And I think all of us are like energy givers and energy feeders. And so, you know, when you're in the space with those kind of people, like, yes. I know when I get the chills, we're going to have a great time here. So we're excited.
That's right.
It's all good.
Absolutely.
So let's get this thing started. I want to talk about what you do and who you serve. So tell us all about this sparkle factor, what it is that you do, and who are these clients that you are helping?
Well, most of the time, clients come my way when they're stuck. So it could be an entrepreneur who's really just finding themselves unable to come up with a creative strategy to show up in the world. Maybe they're really unsure on if they're serving the right audience or not. Or it might be a nonprofit who says, we're not making our budget. I don't really know which way to go. I'm not really being who we say we're serving or who we're trying to be. Or it could be someone who's really just trying to up-level their leadership in some way. And so usually people have heard me speak at a retreat, for a keynote at some conference, and then they say, wow, I want to learn more. I want to learn more about how I can show up and shine, how I don't have to do things like everybody else does. And so they make their way over to Suzanne Castle, and we try to serve them in the best way that we can.
So awesome. Right? Aren't you like feeling the like energy
That was such a great visual too. I can just see them tiptoeing over.
I love it.
Suzanne.
I have not heard her speak, but I've talked to Suzanne off camera, and then I went on her podcast, and just being around her, like, I can just imagine if she's in this like speaking environment, how you would not be just like energized in that room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it'd be like
super compelling.
Who's this Suzanne? We got to figure out who she is.
Thanks for that.
I love it. So let's backpedal this a little bit. How did this come about for you? Like, what's the inspiration behind this? Give us a little bit of history about this.
I wish I had a really great, magical, amazing, transformational story, but I actually fell into this literally. I used to be a professional actress and ballerina and had a really terrible fall in a show, and it ended my career. And after that, people just started asking me to speak at, little retreats here and there, or hey, I have this group and we're looking for someone. Would you talk to us about what it was like to be in such and such either film or stage production? And from that, then people would say, hey, I think I'd like for you to come and do a little more work. Could you help us think through what it's like to look at a project creatively, so to speak? And that's really how I literally fell into consulting and strategic thinking with people. And I absolutely love it. If you had said that I wouldn't have been performing the rest of my life, I would have told you were crazy about 10 years ago. But here I am, and every single day I am so jazzed to help people get out of their stress, funk, and muck, and just instead jump into what it means to be magic mojo and shine and just really take charge of who they are in the world.
We got like the thumbs up behind. That's why we're back here. Like Chris is like back here like this, and so we're like, okay, Suzanne, you got the room. We're all lit up right now. This is so exciting.
We're feeling it.
So good.
It's
So good.
Well, I love what you were saying. How you were a performer, and then that you fell into it, or yeah, that's what you said. You fell into it.
I literally
so
fell.
I was a performing artist, singer, songwriter, all these things. But I grew up doing musical theater. So for me, if somebody would have told me that I was going to end up being a strategy consultant and coach and all this down the road, or even being an entrepreneur, in one of our previous episodes, we're talking about being an accidental entrepreneur. And I wonder if that's sort of you as well, because, for you as a performer, in your mind, you're thinking, oh, no. This is my path. I'm a performer. I'm giving from the stage or in that capacity. So it's really incredible that now you're in that strategic creative role, because what you've done in the past has brought you to this point, prepared you for this moment. But who would have thought, right? Who would have thought that being a ballerina, actress, all those things is going to prepare you for where you are today? It's just, I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would wake up every day as a kid knowing I was going to be on Broadway, and I did everything that I needed to do in all the right ways to make that happen. And still the universe was like, ha ha ha, all your plans. I'm going to show you the what. And what is so great about that is every single day we have an opportunity to go, okay, I got your what, and let me show you what I can bring instead. And I think so many times we just are like, oh, that didn't work out. Okay, well then I'm done. Instead of, yay, this didn't work out. I have an amazing opportunity in front of me if I want to unleash my best self and make that happen.
Yes.
We just got the title to this episode. I got your what.
I got your what. Yeah.
Every week when we go through these podcasts, I talk about this all the time. There's always this takeaway from the show. There's this underlying message that always comes out in these shows. And so when we're creating the title and coming up with writing up the bios of this, I'm always having to go back and sort of kind of listen to what's that general message in there. You just said that right there. I got your what.
I love it.
I got your what.
That's so awesome.
And really focusing on the fact, again, it is not an end, it's a beginning. So it's a beginning to whatever that next chapter is. It's a beginning to whatever door is about to open, but you have to be aware to receive it, and you have to be available to it.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think so many times we're surrounding ourselves with, I say all the time, the muckety muck. And that could be what we're reading, what we're watching, who's surrounding us. If you're not surrounded by a bunch of cheerleaders, then you're not surrounded in the kind of people that you need in your life. And so it could be that all of those things are contributing to keep us stuck in that muckety muck. And instead, it's subtle little changes we can make in finding better people to surround ourselves with, what we read every day, what we're listening to, like this amazing podcast, or we have a playlist for when we're feeling funky. And really these little subtle shifts begin to work on our brain chemistry, and in our brains will really do such incredible things if we will just let them create new neurons and find a new way forward in interesting ways. It doesn't have to be something that's magical and that changes the world. It just has to change a moment,
100%. This is so good.
Oh my God.
How do we add to that, Suzanne?
I know.
So good. So good. No, and you said so many things, because I think all of us are kind of in that space where we're all really working with individuals. And I think the thing that is so neat about all this is that, all of us sort of kind of have a little bit of a different niche that we're working with, but our messages are really all the same. The underlying, I always say it's the skeleton basis really of how to anytime you want to create success, there are things you can do. Sure, you can sit down and you can crunch numbers and lay out plans, but really the bottom line is you've got to get your headspace right. That has to be the most single important thing that you work on. And that starts with all those things you were talking about, who you're hanging around with, who are your cheerleaders. I always talk about like your tribe. Who are those people that are your circle of influence? Because the 5 people you're hanging around with on a daily basis are telling a lot. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
They speak a lot into you. So such good stuff. I love it. Lots of good stuff there.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And the accidental entrepreneur, it came up again. We like that too.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that phrase, accidental entrepreneur. I mean, it describes so much, doesn't it? Just those 2 words. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the thing about that is so many people that come on this show, I mean, the paths are never linear. The dots connect, but it's so interesting to me that even the things that you used to do, some part of that probably played a role in where you are today. There was a piece in there that you took away from that. So there's never wasted moments, no matter what you've done in your life. And I tell people this all the time. It doesn't matter whether that was your path or not. You gained something from that brought you to where you are today.
Absolutely.
So
Right. that kind of segues into, another question we love to ask our guests, because we always talk about how this is about sharing stories of normal, ordinary people like you, like us, who make extraordinary decisions and live extraordinary lives because of it. So for you, you had a choice to either like lay down and die when you had your injury or, rise up. So for you, that might have been kind of like that pivotal moment where you had to make an extraordinary choice to kind of get you to where you are today. But I'm sure there was other things along your path that happened. Would you like to maybe tell us a little bit more about some extraordinary choices you've made?
I think it's so easy that when life throws you those opportunities or the grossness of it all, for you to have a choice in that moment, right? So like my middle brother died and my whole family fell apart because he was the favorite son. Shortly thereafter, I fell and my career was over. Then I ended up in a really terrible divorce and I could barely get up off the bathroom floor because I suddenly had massive crippling anxiety. And so I'm not the only one. I know anyone listening in, you're probably thinking right now, oh yes, I had this and I had that and I had this. And every single time that happens to you, you have the opportunity to say, okay, how do I want to be right now? Just for now. Because I think so much we think, okay, by this time next year, I have to XYZ, or in 5 years, I have to be this amazing magnet of whatever it is that I'm trying to sell, instead of right now in this moment, how can I show up? And then a couple moments later, okay, now how can I show up? And instead, it's breaking it down into smaller tidbits and choices that really allow you to kind of uncover that glimmer that I talk about that is so easily dampened down by society and what expectations are. And instead for you say, I can be extraordinary if I just sit up, if I just walk out the door, if I just make a phone call. And so it's just the little things that I think that leads to the extraordinary things that you're talking about and the choices that we then can make when we show up for our own selves.
Beautiful.
That was incredible.
I hope I answered that.
You
did.
Feel like
I didn't answer that at all.
Because it's like those, we have a choice in that's very living in the present. And like that reminder, like, okay, this just happened, but what's the next, what is that? It's actually like from Frozen 2, the next best thing or the next best choice or something like that. I know, it's so good.
Brianna's going to start singing for us in a minute.
But
She may at any moment start singing.
But yeah, the next best choice ultimately, or what can I do in this moment? How can I choose to be, or in order for me to be who I want to be, what do I need to do right now? Like right this second.
That's good.
That's cool. Thank you for sharing
one of the things that I do with my clients a lot, because when people come to me, again, they're usually stuck, something bad's happening, there's major conflict, whatever it might be. And so this big, hairy, audacious goal that people always say, do your BHAG and have this amazing vision of the zing, zing, Zuda hottie out there, right? And instead I go, that's great. But to do that, what do you have to do? Okay, to do that step, now what do you have to do?
Right.
Okay, now that step, what do you, and we keep going back and back and back until somebody goes, I can do that. Right. That doesn't seem so big and so huge anymore. And I think we've been sold a bill of goods when we make it seem so big and so vast that then it is just this unreachable and unmanageable something out there. And so it just stays out there. right, instead of in here.
Yeah, that's so good. It's making me think right now because that you're right about the being stuck. We're kind of like hung up on that whole thing you just did with the what was that?
The BHAG zitty
Yeah,
zitty
yeah.
giggity.
It's making me think of like Mary Poppins or something. Like I was like some kind of like we're totally feeling this, but so I was hung on that. But it's making me think of like yes, when you're talking about like goals and stuff with with people, they look at this and they've got this big vision over here, right? They have this big vision. And they get hung up on all the hows in between. And
Yes.
you said something very good there because I always say that to people, like, what can you do with what you have from where you are right now? Like, what can you do right now with with what you have, because they get so hung and then they freeze and they do nothing.
Yep.
That's not contingent on anyone else. Like you're not waiting on anyone
Exactly.
else to give you a yes or whatever
Right.
that is. What can you do that no one else
Yes.
has control over?
Absolutely.
That's
And
right.
there is always a choice. There is always something you can do. It may be you need to meet somebody. It may be that you need to get an idea. And where do you get those? You get those from other people. Right?
That's right. That's
So,
right.
it's
And I
so
think if you
good.
take a step back and keep stepping back and saying,
Mhm.
okay, now what do I have to, until you can't say anymore, okay, how do I do that? Then you've got your first step that you need to do. And most people don't want to do that work, right? Let's be
Right.
honest. That takes some time. We want like the fast food answer, right?
Yeah.
If it takes longer than 90 seconds, we're out. And instead, if we would just take a few moments and really center back to that, I think we would just be, like your word, extraordinary. We would be extraordinary decision makers in that moment.
So good.
And that's why people need coaches.
That-
Because a lot of,
Absolutely.
if you're sitting there by yourself trying to figure it out, it's overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
sure,
yeah.
I always say, like, you can figure it out. Go figure that out and come back to me 2 years from now when you figure it out. Or
Mm-hmm.
how about we sit down and
Yeah.
let's figure this out together in an hour or two? Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And I have a coach. I can't be a coach unless I have a coach.
That's
I'm a big
right.
believer in that, because there's always just somebody on the other side of you pushing you or getting you to try something different, or, oh, I have a resource that you haven't tried yet. And those people are absolutely invaluable to your mindset and your heart set and then how you show up.
I agree 100%. And that's
agree
the
more.
thing. Yeah. A lot of times people think you said that everybody needs a coach. And I agree with that. If you want to, there was a question I had seen, didn't mean to switch that, but I saw a question in Facebook a few weeks ago where somebody was asking, like, what's the difference between having like, a mentor and then just having like a person that's like going to keep you accountable. And I was trying to explain the difference between, yes, a person that can keep you accountable might be a peer. It may be somebody on that same level with you.
Yep.
Just says, hey, let's work together and let's hold each other accountable. Where a mentor is going to be like a coach. It's going to be somebody that probably you want to be in their space, be successful like them, or learn something from them. And I've always said that the pros have coaches. The best of the best have
That's right.
coaches in their corner, because you always have somebody that is going to be better than you that can teach you something. That's why I said, even with this show, it's like people come on and we have so many amazing people come in here, and I learn something, and I'm sure you do too. We learn something new every time we do this show. There's always a takeaway moment. We got
Oh,
yours.
yeah. And it's just like being on the stage. There's always
Right.
a director, right?
Yes.
You can be the biggest, badassest superstar. I hope I could cuss. Sorry, I
You're
should have asked
fine. You're
permission.
fine.
On the planet, right? But a director is still going to tell you, go here, stand here. Hey, the
Right.
lighting needs to look better over here. Or, hey, have you tried it like this? Or let's run that again. It's such a concept in the entertainment world. It's a no-brainer. But then when we take it out of the entertainment world, or even out of the sports world, people are like, oh, I don't need a coach. I don't need a strategist. I can figure this out. I can go Google it, right?
Right.
Surely there's a free something somewhere that can help me do this. And that will get you started for sure. I'm a big believer in that, but it's not going to help you keep going.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's not going to help you like operate at your highest level either.
True.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can be way
Yay,
more
that is
effective.
incredible.
Such good stuff. Okay, Suzanne, I want to ask you, this is one of my favorite questions. So
Ooh.
you said so many great things. We have so many like fun words we learned today, and I'm loving it.
I
So
like to make up words.
I know we're gonna go back through this, and like when we do our clips, we're gonna be like, we need to pull this one out, this one out, so we can like
Zuko boo,
Yeah.
Zuko boo.
exactly. We're gonna have a few of those rolling around. You just wait. They're gonna be
Yay, I
out
love
there.
it.
So good. So in your terms, in Suzanne Castle's terms, how would you define success? What does that look like for you?
I think success is the one thing that shines within you so much that you can't wait to do it every single day. And so I just got back from vacation, and took a few days and hung out on the beach. And even then, every day, I was so excited to be working on something. So I think a lot of people have tied success to a money goal or, a vacation place or, a car, a something, a thing. But for me, it's that internal light that just is shining so bright that I can't wait to work on it every single day. And if I can do that every single day, then I'm successful, no matter what anybody else or the world has words for me or not. It doesn't matter, because that's the one thing that keeps me going every day.
So good.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
top it.
can you just keep talking? I'll just keep listening.
Yeah.
You're so
Well,
nice.
sometimes we just run out of words. Hard to imagine now, right?
I know. We're talkers.
I always say when I do these podcasts, if I run out of words, it's like, you just got me there. Hello, I don't have anything else to say to add to that. That was so good. And I do agree with you.
I'll be honest. It was really hard in the entertainment world. You are always told you're not pretty enough or thin enough, or you're too short, you're too tall, your hair's too long. Will you cut it? No, I won't. I mean, there's always
You're not what we're looking for.
Right. There's always a something where you're not. You're just not. You're just the not. Okay. And if that is what drives you to be successful, I'm not always sure that that's the way at the end of your life you want to have been driven. Right? Instead, it's what can I claim today and say about myself that gets me out of bed. And let's face it, there are some days when I just rather stay in bed. Okay. Or I like to throw myself really grand pity parties. I don't know if anybody else does this.
Oh, yeah.
But when I'm really feeling like down in the dumps, or like the life is just too much for me, and get the overwhelm going on, the Chaos Circus, that's what I call it. It's the Chaos Circus. I get lots and lots of wine, because let's do it right, and get the disco ball and all the sad songs, and the fuzzy slippers and this pants that have the really big stretchy, and let's get some cookie dough, whatever we gotta do. And we live in that moment. I'm like, great, I have 3 hours to throw myself a glorious pity party. And then I'm done. I got to go take a shower. I got to put my makeup on, put a prom dress on if that's what it takes, whatever it is. And then I got to shake out of it and start over again. But I think making space for those things are good, but you can't stay stuck there. Right.
Mm-hmm. So good. Okay. I'm going to totally say a kudos on that, because I tell everybody this. You can have your pity party, and it is okay to claim that you're mad, frustrated, whatever that is, right? It's okay. But you time limit that. You totally time limit that, right? That's not a 5-day event. That's not a 2-month event. Depending on the circumstance, but you time limit that. So, like this morning, I woke up and I was like, I'm kind of in a grumpy mood today. Like, it was just so weird, because I wake up excited, and I told my husband today, I said, I'll be over tomorrow. Just got to sleep it off. Like, I just need to sleep it off. I'll be okay tomorrow. Like, I know where I'm at when I have to have those moments. So I think that that's so good that she said that, because I think so many times people stay in they get in those little funks or whatever. They're mad about something, and they just stay there instead of saying, I'm going to allow myself the privilege, or whatever you want to say, to have that moment to do that. But 7:00 tonight, we're done. Mm-hmm. It's over. Mm-hmm. You can keep drinking the wine, though.
Or tomorrow's a new day.
That's right.
Tomorrow's a new day.
Let's go.
That's right. That's right. So it's good to share that. Thanks, Suzanne.
Yeah. You're welcome.
That was good. So good success tips for some of our people that are listening to this stuff, because it's always fun to get coaches on here and to kind of reiterate some of our stuff.
Get us all
good.
Pumped up, motivated.
That's right.
Love it. Well, I think we should ask her some fun questions.
I know. We got to do some rapid fires.
We've had some fun already.
I know. We've had. So we got to do some fun rapid fire. And if you think of any you want to ask her, you just throw them in there, okay?
Ooh, okay.
All right, Suzanne. So are you a morning or night person?
Yes.
Morning or night? You have to.
No, I'm yes, because
You're
I'm
both?
not an afternoon person. I'm not an afternoon person.
Oh.
I'm a morning person and a night person. But in the afternoons, man, those slumpies, it's a real deal for me.
Now look, here I was thinking that you didn't hear that, and you had me. You got us on that one. I should have known she was on her toes. I'm like, yes. I'm like, is she going to say like yes to one or the other? Which one? That was a good answer. That's awesome. Okay.
I've got one.
Go for it.
Rent or Les Mis?
Ooh. Well, I would say Les Mis, and here's why. So give me some space here. I'm a big Broadway musical person, obviously, but I can hear 3 bars of Les Mis and start crying, and I cry through the entire thing, except for the bar scene. But I cry through the entire thing. And Rent, I don't cry through the whole thing. It definitely tugs on the heartstrings. But from Les Mis, from beginning to end, it is an emotional journey every single time.
So good. I feel a little connection there. I would have been. That was a good question. I see.
It's a great question.
I knew you were a musical theater girl, so I had to know.
Yes, that's so good.
Yeah.
I love it. That's a good one. We'll have to get some more fun ones like that. Okay. Suzanne, cat or dog?
Oh, dog. I've got two crazy
I was gonna say, did we
boxers that I'm
see?
sure
Didn't
you've
we
seen
see
behind me
something?
running?
Yeah, I thought we saw something earlier on the stairs. Did you see it?
No, I
I
didn't.
thought I saw a little something back there going on. I'm like, is she got an animal back there moving around?
I do.
So
I have two boxer puppies running rampant all through the jungle gym that is outside those doors.
Are they pandemic puppies?
You know, they are. I work with Cowtown Boxer Rescue and rescue boxers, and they were an emergency placement that was just for a couple of days. And yeah, they're ours now. So here we are. So
That's awesome.
it's so awesome. Every time I bring home a pet with intentions that I'm going to take it to a shelter, I keep it.
Oh,
So in our house, it's like, don't bring another pet home. We have a lot of them. It's like, we're going to take them to the shelter tomorrow. And then the day goes by and the day goes by. And then guess what? They turn into a pet with the name. Like we had a cat show up on our porch, like seriously, on our window, in our kitchen. Like we don't even have stray cats. Showed up on our window. The cat spent a few days in the garage. You know what the cat's name is now? It's in the house. You know what it is?
Garage.
Garage cat.
garage.
True story.
I love
Garage
it.
cat. That's like, you named your cat Garage Cat. We're like, yeah, we don't know what to name it. So it became Garage Cat.
I love
So it's good. All right. What's your favorite food?
it. Probably truffles. Not the chocolate kind, the mushroom kinds.
Oh, truffles.
How decadent of you.
Well, Italy's my favorite country, and so you get lots of truffle and
She's so
porcini risotto
bougie.
going on there, so,
That's
yeah.
so funny. That's a word my kids say all the time. Like they tell each other that. They're like, that's so bougie. I'm like,
So
what is
bougie.
bougie?
Or
That's so funny.
steak. I'll be a good Texan. Or steak. I love a really good steak.
Steak is
Yeah.
good. I'm going to have to try the truffles, I think, though. That's not maybe
Yeah.
with steak.
Yes.
Truffle
Oh,
sauce.
yeah.
Like she's like, yes.
Very decadent.
Lobster risotto. truffles.
Okay, we got a whole food
Okay.
conversation going on. Now Chris is offering
Getting
us food
hungry.
tidbits back there.
Yes.
We're all hungry. Okay. All right, last fun question we're going to ask you for the day. If you
Okay.
could be this is going to be so fun. I want to see what she says. If you could be any superhero for one day, what would you pick?
A Wonder Twin.
A Wonder
Zane
Twin.
and Jane.
Does anybody remember the Wonder Twins?
Chris,
From the
Chris,
Hall of Justice?
Chris
Yeah.
knows.
Chris
He's
knows.
back there doing this
He's
again. The
got
arms are in the
the
air.
V-
Wonder Twin powers activate, and they could form anything they want. They could be form of a wall of water or form of a snake or anything that was needed in the moment. They became what was needed to save the world.
Wow.
I love that. That
Oh my
is
gosh.
so good. Like to transform yourself in whatever was in front of you to make the world a brighter, shinier place. That's totally my
And they were
superhero.
aliens. Their names were Zan and Jane.
Zan and Jane.
Zane and Jane.
Yes, that's exactly
Aliens.
right.
Chris is giving us the scoop behind the camera back there. He's telling us all
I
this.
love it.
His arms went up in the air again. Like you're like scoring points over because he keeps doing this to us.
It's like, I love her.
Yes, we're gonna have to get Suzanne back in the studio at a later time. We're gonna bring you in.
love it.
We're gonna bring you in here.
Yes,
we
please.
have-
Oh my gosh, yes.
It'll be so much fun. This has been so awesome.
Yes,
Like, we
absolutely.
could be here forever. So we want to say thank you for being an incredible guest. We've had so much fun with you. We're definitely going to get you back in here again to come inside so you can check out the studio and hang
That'd
out
be
with
great.
us for a little while.
I
Yeah.
would love that, and then I'll take you out for like steak and wine. How does that
Ooh,
sound?
hey, let's
Sounds
do that.
amazing.
Yeah.
So also we want to know if our listeners are, tuning in, where they can find you, because they're definitely going to want to get their sparkle on. And so how do they find you? All the things. Can you share?
Well, I'm on all the channels and all the things, just my name, Suzanne Castle. But if you'll go to my website, which is suzannecastle.com, and if you do the / and type the word chaos, CHAOS, because I have to be difficult, I put a freebie up on there just for your listeners today. It's a whole workbook on how to regain your sparkle and get out of that chaos. So there's some de-stressing exercises, there's some self-care strategy, there's really great ways to kind of get beyond your overwhelm and your stress and like the life sucking out of you and grab that sparkle back. And so grab that if you want to. I normally sell it, but I was coming on here and you guys have been so gracious, so I wanted to be sure to do a giveaway for your
Oh,
audience.
thank
Awesome.
you. So
Yeah.
SuzanneCastle.com /chaos.
Chaos.
Do not miss that opportunity, guys.
Absolutely. Love that.
It's awesome.
And thank you for sharing that with our audience.
Oh, sure. No. Absolutely. This is such a joy for me. Anytime we can connect greater on any form or fashion, we all need to be uplifting each other and giving each other brave words to be extraordinary humans. Am I right?
Absolutely. We love your sparkle
It's been a joy.
factor.
Yes, joy getting to know you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
being
You
here.
too. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right. Well, to our listeners, we want to say, if you enjoy our podcast, please be sure you give us a rating on iTunes. And of course, check us out on Amazon and iHeart. And we are also, or hit the subscribe button on YouTube. I'm like, all
And
messed
don't
up.
forget to head over to startergirls.com to grab your free gift there as well.
Absolutely. All right. And with that, I got a couple final thoughts to leave you guys with. All right. There are two ways of spreading light: to be the candle or be the mirror that reflects it. And that is by Edith Wharton. And I think that is so befitting of what we're talking about today, right? With the whole sparkle factor. I love it. And in order to have success, you must start. And that start begins with a decision. All right, you guys take care, be safe, and be kind to one another. We'll see you next time.
Ciao.